ferries started coming up. They were getting people off the wing, and one of the ferries ran into our life raft twice. Fortunately, it was the other end of the life raft. At that point, we were still connected to the plane. The people in the back were terrified because ferries are way up here, and so everybody was hollering and whatnot. When the helicopters came, that was good and bad because the rotor wash was blowing ice cold water all over everybody. Water temperature was 34 degrees, and the air temperature was 18. So for those who got thrown in Granville on your birthday, it was a lot colder than that. So I was there for a while, and if anybody watched 60 Minutes, I was the passenger who thanked him. I told him he was my hero, and I thanked him, and he said, "You're welcome." But other than that, he was calm as a cucumber. He didn't say a word. He was very focused. He had his hat on. He looked like he was just another day. The first officer was pretty shook up. He was pretty chatty. Somebody was asking him what happened, and he said, "Well, we ran into geese." And another passenger said, "Well, why didn't you? Could you miss them? Could you go around them?" And he said, "We were full thrust. By the time we saw them, it's too late." And at that point, they weren't really talking about who was doing what in the cockpit or anything like that. My boss was also on the plane, and ironically enough, we had spent the morning at our board meeting talking about succession planning and disaster recovery, and there we were both on that plane, and I could count the number of times that we've flown together on one hand and on 3 fingers. That was the 3rd time, and it was the last time, because at the airport we said, "Don't worry about it, whatever happens." Eventually, the pilot decided we needed to cut the life raft loose from the plane because the plane was still sinking, and so he pulled some kind of pin or something, and we floated away. And what happened is, when the ferries pulled away with the people, there were tugboats and fireboats that came in and tied off the plane to keep it from sinking, and then they drug it down to Battery Park, where everybody saw it the next morning with just the tail fin sticking out and whatnot. But I climbed up one of those rope ladders into one of the ferries, and once I got to where they could reach you, I could have let go. I had about, I don't know how many people lift me, but they literally grabbed me and just picked me up and put me on the plane. I mean on the ferry, and then I ended up at the New York ferry terminal. Flight took off at 3:24. I called Amy. Actually, Katie answered the phone at 3:39 on the caller ID from the life raft. I had to borrow somebody's phone, as my phone at that point was somewhere, which I found later in the bottom of the life raft, but it had been underwater for a while and never worked. But I called her and told her the plane crashed, and I was in the life raft in the Hudson River, and turned on the TV,